got this foam roll from Masters. It's some sort of insulation for pipes or something. That's not really important, but what's important is the squishy factor. I'll zoom in. See how it's all nice and squishy? Yep, and it's big and it's foamy. This is what we'll be using to make the mask. So get yourself about a hand and a bit worth of the foam and slice it across in one nice, smooth, even cut. Don't saw this, otherwise you get jagged edges. See that? Nice and smooth. Alright, those little gumball machine things, you get one of those. Alright, cut off the little tag, don't need it. Put it back together again, and this is going to form the end of the snoot, the nice shiny bit for the mouse. Fit it in there and pinch around with the foam to find out where you're supposed to cut, and from there, using my fingernail, works pretty good actually, we'll cut all the way along in a line like that. So we'll just use the knife again and slice in, nice and smooth, and that makes our cut. Now the edges are flat, which is not quite what we want. So when we pinch like that, yeah, they fit together, but they don't really touch together. So we'll be getting the knife and we'll cut it at 45 degrees along each side, and that will give a good bed for the ball to sit on. So good adhesion to the foam, good surface area there. And once we've finished that, just gotta cut this bit off here. So that forms that nice bed for the ball. Make sure that fits good. Yeah, it looks really nice actually. I like that. Excellent. Now we'll do the same for the inside here. And this will make sure that the two edges actually line up when they touch and have good adhesion to each other. There we go, see? That's good. That's good. Alright, now get yourself this contact adhesive. You can use foam glue, works just as good. Now the way this works is that you put a bit on one side, put a bit on the other side, and then you let it go tacky, and then you squeeze the two things together. Now I used a wooden knife here, just because I didn't want to ruin one of my brushes. But you can use whatever you want really, of course, just as long as you can get that glue on there. Also, it stinks. Okay, now you typically let it wait for a bit. Make sure it goes for about 3 or 4 minutes until it gets nice and tacky. It sort of has to be a sort of a consistency of tick, 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 like that. And then you clamp it together. You really squish it hard and work it all the way up. Just like this. Okay, squeeze and squeeze and push and squeeze and push. And you work it and push it and squeeze it and work it like that. All the way up, all the way back down again. Now I found out that with this particular snoot, I should have done it 90 degrees out because this made it a bit too thin and wonky. That's all right. Now it's time for the ball. So we do the same thing. We smear a bit of glue on there, and then we put that to one side and make sure it doesn't roll around, because then you end up with glue on your bench, and I found that out the hard way. Put some on the inside here and make sure you smear it all the way around. You want a good amount of glue. Then squeeze it in there just like that and really press it. Press all the way around to get good contact. Just like that. Now get yourself a good long length of foam. This is what's going to make the top part of the mask. So it's going to wrap around your entire face. Slice it down the edge there and open it up, and you end up with this sort of shield like that. It'll fit against that nose there. Alright, now here we make the fur. Nice sweeping curves. You don't have to be too precise. You can have more curves or fewer curves, doesn't really matter. You can make it pointy and spiky, you can make it round and lush. It's up to you. I decided to just go for a few little rounded triangles. Let's speed this up. Zit, zit, zit. Do it all the way along. In fact, the less precise you are, the better in this case. Slice, slice, slice. Alright, get rid of all those bits. Good. Now, up against the snoot there, it'll fit, but I do need to cut out the inside there to make sure that it'll fit properly. So, with the knife at a 45-degree angle, just gently slice that bit off there to create more contact. Use your goopy glue, contact adhesive, slap it on, stinky stuff, yeah, get in there, and a bit on the bottom here. Now make sure you do let it dry properly and go tacky, otherwise it'll just smoosh together and you end up with a bad bond. So you put it in place, line it up, and press. Press, press, squish it really hard, really work it in there. Don't worry if the glue gets on your skin, it'll come off. It's just skin after all. Alright, now you need to slice the bottom out a bit to make room for your chin, and also the top bit there to make room for your nose. Let's get a better angle here if we can see. Hang on. Alright, looks like that. Your face is going in there. Alright, get a clamp to hold it in place while you go have yourself a cup of tea. Tea break's over, back to it. Get another hand's worth. We're going to be making the ears now. Alright, so cut that down both sides. There we are. Zzz. And then make a nice long sweeping oval with a smooth cut. You can do a bit of a rough cut here if you want for a mouse with rough ears, but I wanted to have smooth ears myself. There we go. That'll form the top part of the ear. Get rid of all that. And then we'll do along the other edge as well. If you wanted to have wonky sized ears, you could do that too. I kept mine sort of symmetric. Alright, don't need those. Now, your mouse can have happy ears, which sort of point upwards, if you like. Or they can have sad ears that point down, or flat ears that might be sneaky. It's up to you. It depends on where you want to position them. I sort of had mine like Remy, where he has his ears a little bit further back and flatter. Get some glue, nice amount of glue on there. Don't be skimpy. And attach that to the inside of the whiskers. There we go. And squeeze it together. Good strong bond. And make sure you do that to the other ear as well. Alright, now using that bit that you cut out of the snoot before, slice that right down the middle, and we'll be making the bottom half of the mask where the whiskers sort of sit. Adds a bit more volume, I guess, to the mask, makes it a bit larger, and protects the sides of your face. There we go, just like that. Alright, see? Fits under there. Smear the glue on. This is not as structurally important, but still give it a good amount of glue. Don't be skimpy. Position it and squish it. That's it. Squish, 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 squish. Alright. Now put it to one side to dry. Put it to one side. Put it to one side to dry. Put it to one side. Put it to one side to dry. Just leave it over here. Anyway, where was I? Okay, I need to get some more foam. So maybe another hand's worth of foam again. This will make the back plate. So you don't cut it down the edge, you cut it between the two edges, like so, and that will form this wall. And I'll demonstrate. Just a second. Just a second. No. Where did I stick it? It's over here somewhere. Ah, okay. Here we go. Found it. This is Betsy. Say hi, Betsy. Thanks for your hair. Sorry, you can put that over there somewhere else. We need you, Betsy, to demonstrate. So, this bit here goes onto the back of the head there, like that. So this is what's going to hold the mask onto the head. See? Alright, so you get the mask here and you position it there. Use some clamps or whatever you need to try and find out how big it's going to need to be. So my head's a bit bigger than Betsy. So I had to go a bit bigger. If your head's a bit smaller than Betsy, you go a bit smaller. You'll have to find your own Betsy, of course. Anyway, yeah, so glue and then stick. Make sure you put a lot of glue here and clamp it on, because this is what's going to hold it onto your head. Squeeze that down. There we go. And that back bit there is now complete. That'll hold onto your head quite nicely. Righty. Grab another hand's worth or so. Yeah. Cut that down on both sides. We kind of only want this as a top plate, you see. And so if we put the mask like this on Betsy, there we go. You see how it flops down a bit? We want to have a little plate on top to stop it from falling down too much. So cut that in half, put that somewhere over there for next time. and you sort of measure and cut just to make sure you can fit the top plating quite nicely. It was just the two corners I found that I just needed to slice a few times. Just like that. See that? Actually, I'll show you. It looks a bit better this way. Betsy over here, thank you. Now that goes in there. See that? How the edges fit quite nicely, and it fits almost like a box on your head. Now goop up everything. And I mean everything. Just go nuts. All the edges, all the inside bits, all the outside bits, all the edges on this side, all the edges on that side. Make sure it's all sticky and tacky. Then you clamp it on and you work it around. This also helps provide a bit of shape around the head because the foam has a natural tendency to kind of spring back into the way it was. There we are. And there we have a head. Right, I need to cut the back bit out there just so I've got some room to stick my own head in there. Just a bit. Maybe like a little small curve, just like that. And you'll just find that makes it a little bit easier to get on and off. Done. There we go. Now, let's see how this is going to look on Betsy. Put the knife over there. You can see Betsy, thank you. You roll it from the back to the front, slide it down. Actually, it fits pretty good. Yeah, I like it. Nice and neat. Feel free to trim out anything if you want to have air holes or a bit of a lighter head. There we go. Cool. Now it's time to put some eyeballs in there. That's me. Hi. And so you stick it on your head and you find the pencil which you had. There it is. Now it's hard to explain, but you sort of use the pencil on the inside of your mask right where your eyeball is and push against the mask from the inside. Don't poke your own eyes. That would really hurt. I didn't do that, but it would hurt. And so you try and find out whereabouts are your eyes. Okay, so it'd be like, whoop, yep, don't do that. Okay, so now that you've got the mark, you then get yourself your pencil again, or something pointy and sharp, or maybe a drill bit would work just as well if you can't get through the foam, and you try and push it all the way through to actually make a very small hole. It doesn't have to be super huge, because what you want to do here is make sure that it lines up with your eyes. If you make it too wide or too narrow, if it's a small hole, you give yourself a bit of room to move around and make sure you get it in the right spot. Alright, let's try that out. Stick it on your head. How many fingers are you holding up? See the eyeballs there? Good. And now get your knife out and make the eyeballs bigger, because you want to be able to see. Gouge it out. It's a bit ugly, so we really don't want to show that to all the kiddies at home, but you cut out all the holes. There we are. Try it on one more time. Can you actually see anything? The answer is yes. Yes, I can. Great. Cool. 2 fingers, 5 fingers, 10. Great. Excellent. We're hot to trot. Painting time! Get yourself some undercoat. Here's some undercoat I had from another project. It got a bit yucky and stuff, but it still works. It's still under and coats. Slop it on. Really slop it on. Slop, 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 slop. You want to get undercoat on here because that way the paint that you put on top afterwards will stick nicely and it will show up nicely. If you put a light color on top of that dark foam there, it won't really show up. Whereas if you have an undercoat, a nice bright white undercoat, that will actually help lift the color up and help the paint to stick properly. Okay, get it all over. All over. Paint, 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 paint. Yeah, done. There you go. Let it dry. Slowly draw a circle around the eyeball. This will help make the cartoon eye. Get some actual white paint. Not just undercoat, but white paint. And paint inside that circle you just made. This will help give you a nice, good looking eyeball. Very, very cartoony eyeball. There we go, just trying to go out of the lines. And using the same white paint from the top of the jaw down on an angle, we're going to paint the underneath of them all to give a bit of a two-tone to the mouse. So from there, draw a line, and then just fill it all in. Paint, 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 paint. Good. On both sides, of course. Now using a bit of red and a bit of the white that I had there, I'm going to make some pink, and this pink is going to be for the ears. So get some of the red, squish it in, mix it up good. That's a nice looking pink. And then give it to the ears. I'm not going to cover the entire ear area with pink. I'll have that bit there, that bit, leaving the top bit there, and there, and there, and there. Right, and that top bit will have a bit of fur. Now for the brown, for the snoot. Nice bit of mission brown, just straight up brown, no mixing required. If you want to, you can have a pink one, or you can have yourself a black one, or you can have a light brown one. Who was that? Oh, someone walked past there. Okay, let that dry. Walk away, go home, let it dry, don't touch it. Now I'm going to make myself a blue-grey mouse. I've also made a Rufus one, but I think a blue-grey one will look nice in contrast, so get some cobalt, get some white, mix it up. Oh, that's probably a bit too bright. Get some black, and just put a little touch of that in there, and that'll help make it into that grey colour. There we are. A nice blue-grey. Good looking. Alright, slop it on. And this will cover all of his whiskers. If you want to get fancy, you can also probably give some flecks in the whiskers of different colours, different shades. Maybe even give it a 3 tones. Maybe a dull grey and a blue grey as and maybe an older mouse. Do all along his nose, along the edges there. Don't forget that you want to keep that bottom bit white, because the mouse has 2 tones on them all. And the ears. Look at that, right in there. Use a finer brush to get right into the crevices, so right into the ears, right along the nose, right up against the eye. Keep that circle, because that's where people are going to pay the most attention. So get that curve nice. There we are. Like that. Good. And you'll also want to do just along the edge here with the snoot ears, and really cover that in. It's a bit finicky, but spend some time on those bits. There we go. It's actually looking pretty good. I like it. Alright, and do the rest. Paint in all the rest of it as blue. Blue, 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 blue. Grey. Get some carbon black. We'll fill the inside of the eyes with black. It just helps not have such a rough edge on the edge there. Get some varnish, because we want to have ourselves a shiny nose. Shiny noses are cool. Every mouse needs a shiny nose. This one is a satin varnish. You could have gone for gloss. Thanks, Betsy. Now we want to have a mouth. Very simple. Draw a line with a slight upward curve, in this case downward because the mouse is upside down, and draw it across like that. Very straight line, very cartoon sort of mouth. And do the other side. Try and keep it symmetrical. You could have one with a bit of a wry grin, or you could have maybe an angry mouse. I'll have mine as just a normal looking mouse. Then go over some of the features, such as the eyes, and maybe give it an eyebrow. Go along the inside of the pupil, like that. Color it in black. The ears, edge there, and that'll just help bring out those features there. Alright, how is it looking? Let's try it on, shall we? Deep breath. Moment of truth. Oof. Hey, check it out. I'm a mouse. I'm a mouse. Yeah, I'm a mouse. 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 Mouse. I'll stop. Sorry. Get back to work. Oh yeah, and thanks, Betsy. You've been great. Great help. Here's your hair back. Cheers. So now you've got a mouse mask. So what are you gonna do with this thing? I mean, you could, I don't know, spend your time doing mouse work. I don't know, rock around in the garden. You could have your hat blow off. Oh, darn it. Hey Joe, you know what we should do? I've got a really cool idea. You know what we should do? Below this mouse work, how about we have ourselves a mouse party? Hey? Yeah!